Hi, hello, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my March wrap-up. Now, this is about 4 or 5 days prior to the end of March. I'm filming this on March 26th. I always try to include that for transparency's sake, but I've planned out my reading, and I know when I'm going to be finishing things, so it's not going to be that drastically different. I feel like this month turned out way more productive than I expected it to. I ended up reading more than expected and almost like faster than expected. The Ellen Hopkins rereads I thought was going to kick my ass, and it did to a certain extent, but it was not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. So it is what it is. Let's go ahead and talk about books though. The stats, anyway. The total number of books I read this past month was 27. Total pages read was 7,768, which, as you know, I only count the books that have pages in them, not audiobooks, basically. For audio hours listened, it was 101 hours and 21 minutes, which as days is 4 days, 5 hours and 21 minutes. The average page per day was 246.3, and the average hours per day was 4 hours, 41 minutes, and 34 seconds. And my average rating for the month was a 3, which is kind of low for me. I'm going to blame the Ellen Hopkins books for that. I think that they definitely made it hard to rate things highly. That video isn't coming out until June, so you have to wait a bit for me to, get in depth about how I feel about those books, but I have feelings. Next up, we have books purchased, which was 3, and I spent a total of $44.95. I think there were 2, no, one was the next Shauna Maguire book in the Encrypted series, and then the other 2, one was a children's book, and the other one was Imaginary Friend from the horror bookshop. The children's book was also from the horror bookshop. I checked out a total of 19 library books, which saved me a total of $292.18. I feel like that stat might be an interesting thing to start including in my videos. I did a total of 11 rereads. The format of the books that I read was 11 audiobooks, 8 ebooks, and 8 physical books. Kind of an interesting split between digital and physical. I read a total of 13 adult books, 13 young adult books, and 1 middle grade book. Every time there's a middle grade book, I'm like, what middle grade book did I read? I think it was the Bartimaeus trilogy. I actually know it was the Bartimaeus trilogy. For genres, which I can show you the book blanket. Hold on. She's not totally up to date for March yet, but she will be. This is where we're at with her. So this is January, and then February, and then March is here, and she's not done. She needs a couple more rows, and then my planned TBR for April is here. It's kind of fun, the color differences here. I think it's neat. But for genres, we have 7 fantasy, 1 romance, shock and awe, I know, 1 thriller, which was a pretty low number for me, 5 horror, 2 classics, which is a high number for me, 2 general fiction, and 9 contemporary. Was it 2 classics or 3 classics? No, it was just 2. Okay, it was just 2. Probably the Yellow Wallpaper, and then Much Ado About Nothing. Anyway, those are the stats. So quick run through of the stats. They were pretty. It was a good month overall. I mean, even with the Ellen Hopkins books, it was a good month, and I enjoyed most of my reads. There was one outlier for sure for a book I didn't enjoy that wasn't one of the Ellen Hopkins books. So I obviously am going to talk about that, but I also had some really, really good books. The 2 of the books in my top books this month are part of a series, and one of them is not. So I don't generally do that, but I feel like in this instance it was necessary because that's how I feel about it. I think that they were that good, so they're worth mentioning. The first one on my top books is going to be Love Boat Forever by Abigail Hing Wen. This is the 3rd book in the Love Boat Taipei trilogy. I don't know if there's going to be more books or not. But it follows Pearl, who is our previous main character's little sister. She's following in her sister's footsteps, essentially. And I appreciated the look back of, or the showing what these characters have dealt with since growing up, what's happened. with the families, and also focusing on a little sister as she gets older. I appreciated all of those things. I really enjoy the Love Boat Taipei series. I think that it is so sweet and just such a good YA romance series, which is coming from me, so you can just assume there's like minimal spice and mostly cute things happening, but I feel like it really shows teenagers being teenagers, and I really appreciate that. And yes, it was very similar to the first two books, but I don't care. I liked it a lot. I wouldn't read all of these books in one go, right? I wouldn't like go sit down and read all three of the Love Boat Taipei series because I feel like they're kind of similar to one another, but if I was picking a YA romance, it would probably be the Love Boat Taipei series as a whole. The next book is The Insatiable Volt Sisters by Rachel Eve Moulton. This is the author who wrote Tinfoil Butterfly, which is a book I found to be incredible. I enjoyed it a lot. The Insatiable Volt Sisters stands by that. It is equally strange as Tinfoil Butterfly. It is still horror, but it's creepy house, creepy island, the ocean, creepy monsters. I feel like I read a book called The Memory Keeper a while back, which is a young adult, and it feels similar to The Insatiable Volt Sisters, but different. Similar but different in a lot of good ways, but if you need a step, like if horror is too much and you need a step down but want similar concept, I would go with The Memory Keeper. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the slow reveal of the history and what was going on and why one sister was taken away so quickly in the night. And the dynamics, the family dynamics was really interesting. And yeah, I really enjoyed the book. Next, we have Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry, which one of you guys bought me the book, which I appreciate greatly. It's in a vlog somewhere where I get real emotional about it because it was so sweet and unexpected. So thank you again. It is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, and it's just fun. It's a fun little book. I enjoyed the simplicity of the story. There were some very quotable moments. There were some moments that made me kind of like emotional in a good way. Like, it's a very cozy fantasy read, and I enjoyed it for that. And so that's why it was a 5-star read for me, because Travis Baldry managed to recreate Legends and Lattes, the vibe, in a prequel that still like tied the stories in and made it interesting without it being so high stakes and like but it was still interesting enough to stay reading it. I think that that's kind of important. I don't really enjoy cozy fantasy for the most part because I find it very boring. I blame my ADHD on that, and I think that this was a good middle ground on that. Like, I didn't get bored, and that's hard to do with me. I'm very easily bored. That's all of my top books for the month. Now, my bottom book of the month is tricky because I rated it 3 stars, but in my heart it was a 2-star read. And that is going to be All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. First, this was written by a true crime girly, and I think that is why I didn't like this book. That sounds like I'm biased saying that I hate true crime girlies and therefore I hate this book. No. I think because the true crime girlies always want a crazy twist at the end, an unexpected twist, a double twist, if you will, like a twist to the twist. And that is what Ashley Flowers does in this book. And I found the final twist so irritating. Like, I was in it. It was a 4-star read for me. Like, up until like the last 2 chapters, I was like, wow, this is so good and I'm enjoying myself so much. And then I got to like the last couple of chapters and I was like, hey bestie, what the fuck? This is the dumbest twist I've ever read. This is stupid as fuck. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, as I was reading, I was like, no, none of this makes sense. None of this adds up. None of this, why would this be the twist? This is stupid. This is, what the fuck? And I stand by that. I think I even wrote something like, I'm rating it a 2 in my heart, but I respect the cop file system or something. Where is it? This was fine. Actually, it was good, but the ending twist was so abrupt and horrible and stupid that I rate this 2 stars in my heart, but I'm respecting the cop pile. That was my official rating, was that. Which, I stand by that. I think Past Me was absolutely, beginning of the month me, she was right for that. They were completely correct for that. Yeah, it was just really disappointing, honestly. I think the only other like book I didn't enjoy was The Defining Decade, and that was more based on personal experiences, and maybe if I read it in my early 20s I would have appreciated the book more, but I didn't, so I didn't. But I don't think that's valid enough to include it in my like bottom book of the month or anything, so All Good People Here is the winner for this month. But yeah, it was tough to pick like top books and bottom books because I read so many good books this month, and also tough to pick them because I read the Ellen Hopkins books, and there are several of them that I would have put in the bottom books, and also like a couple that I'd put in top books, but I'm trying to save that for my video about that specifically. So I enjoyed my reads this month though, and I am excited to see what next month includes because I am participating in Sapphic Spring, which I think by the time this video comes out, Sapphic Spring will have started. So if you were participating in that readathon, I hope you're having fun. My friends run it, so go show them love, Lexi and Landis. They run it on Twitter and Instagram, etc. I think that's it though. I think that's it. I'm gonna go. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of the books that I talked about this month, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about them, enjoyed them, hated them, whatever. We can have a civil discussion. If you didn't enjoy this video and it's not because you disliked my opinions, let me know how I can make it better for you, and that's it. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first full week of the month, and what else? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.